The moment they turn away from you does not arrive when you fail, but precisely when you stop needing them. The popular belief that betrayal only emerges after major conflict is a lullaby told to keep people asleep. In reality, it is born quietly. The instant the familiar order is disturbed, you were taught that if you are kind, humble, and diligent, others will support you. That belief is flawed at the root. People do not attach themselves to you because you are good. They attach because you occupy a position that makes them feel safe. The moment you shift even slightly, that safety fractures. When you become less predictable, less dependent, less eager for validation, their minds register a danger signal, not physical danger, but positional danger. From that second on, the gaze changes. The voice alters its rhythm, and attitudes begin to freeze. No one declares opposition. They simply stop standing with you. Society claims enemies arise from jealousy or misunderstanding, but that is surface narrative. The real reason is that you have violated an unspoken contract you did not even know you signed. That contract states you will maintain your role, your needs, your controllability. When you grow faster, become more autonomous, or simply go quiet in the face of familiar games, you breach it. The turning away is not an emotional reaction, it is a survival reflex. People do not oppose you because they hate you. They oppose the possibility that you might move beyond their reach. This moment is often missed because it is not loud. There is no argument, no accusation, only a slow withdrawal, disappearing support, doors that once opened now closing. You think you are maturing in their eyes. You are becoming a variable, and humans hate variables more than they hate mistakes. This is the first blade of awareness. People are not loyal to individuals. They are loyal to the structures those individuals maintain. When the structure changes, loyalty dies on the spot. 2. Society maintains order with beautiful stories work together, and everyone will be recognized. The more agreeable you are, the more protected you become. Success rewards those who cooperate. These stories were not designed to produce winners, but to prevent the crowd from questioning its position. They persuade people that compliance will be met with fairness. Yet, fairness only exists at a level sufficient to prevent revolt, never at a level that allows someone to rise without being pulled back. These narratives plant a dangerous illusion that acceptance is a reward for morality. In reality, acceptance is merely a stabilizing mechanism. You are liked when you do not disrupt the balance. You are supported when you do not create excessive disparity. The moment you accelerate, society no longer sees you as a member, but as a system error. And systems do not debate errors. They quietly correct them. People assume society punishes the bad. What it truly punishes are those who exceed the frame. Someone too capable, too independent, too self-directed exposes the stagnation of the majority. That exposure creates pressure. To relieve it, society does not need open attack. It simply withholds invisible resources support, information, goodwill. You are not struck down, you are starved. And because everything occurs within acceptable rules, no one sees a problem. These pleasant stories serve another function. They make the one who is turned away blame himself. You will wonder what you did wrong, where you lacked tact, how you failed to be agreeable enough. That is the trap. When you analyze your personal morality, you miss the structural nature of the problem. You are not wrong. You are no longer compatible with the shared narrative. Society does not need you to win. It needs you in your role. When you refuse that role, resistance begins quiet, emotionless, coldly efficient. 3. Humans do not operate by ideals, as they like to describe themselves. Beneath moral language lies a far simpler system: fear of losing position, constant comparison, and benefit calculation. All social behavior revolves around these axes, regardless of how generously it is cloaked in virtue. Once you understand this, the moment people turn against you ceases to be ambiguous. It becomes inevitable. Fear is the root engine, not fear that you will harm them, but fear that you will make them smaller. Each time you advance, even without interference, you place a mirror before them. That mirror reflects the gap between what they are and what they do not dare become. That gap hurts. Humans do not resolve that pain by elevating themselves, but by pulling down what causes it. No malice required, only reflex. Comparison maintains hierarchy. Value is never assessed in a vacuum, only in relation. You are acceptable when you occupy the correct range, not too low to be useless, not too high to be threatening. When you exit that zone through competence, discipline, or inner detachment, you disrupt the familiar comparison. From that moment, your presence becomes an uncomfortable question they do not want to answer. Benefit is the final filter. Relationships persist as long as they provide clear utility or a sense of control. When you reduce need, dependency, and expectation, you also reduce your functional value in others' eyes. This sounds crude, but it is precise. Humans attach long-term to what they can predict and exploit to some degree. Someone no longer easy to use begins to be excluded from the friendly circle. Thus, the turning away is not an event, but a natural consequence of human psychological structure. No conspiracy. No drama required. You simply step out of the familiar position within their fear, comparison, and benefit calculus. When all three destabilize at once, attitude change is unavoidable. This is not personal betrayal. It is the naked mechanics of human behavior when an unspoken order is threatened. 4. Dark is not evil, nor cruelty or manipulation, as it is often labeled. Dark is the state of no longer needing to be loved to act, no longer needing to be understood to exist, no longer needing acceptance to move forward. At this point, others' withdrawal accelerates, not because you do wrong, but because you have exited the emotional economy most people depend on. Most humans act in exchange for feedback. They speak to be affirmed, yield to be protected, sacrifice to secure position. When you become dark, you sever that exchange. You no longer broadcast pleading signals, nor do you issue challenges. You act from internal objectives, not surrounding eyes. This disorients others. They do not know how to reward you, punish you, or pull you back. That ambiguity breeds unease. A dark personality does not seek to please, and therefore cannot be controlled by the withdrawal of approval. When others realize their silence no longer affects you, they understand a tool has lost effectiveness. From that moment, you are no longer one of us, but an independent entity. And within social structures, independence is always classified as risk. There is a dangerous misconception that if you harm no one, you will not be opposed. Dark shatters this. You may cause no direct damage, yet your existence itself applies pressure. You demonstrate that it is possible to live without emotional permission from the collective. This exposes the dependence of those who remain bound to it. They do not resent your actions. They are unsettled by how your presence questions their own. Dark also means you do not explain. You do not justify, clarify, or advertise good intentions. In society's eyes, non-explanation is often interpreted as arrogance or threat. In truth, it signals someone who has stopped seeking approval. and when you no longer need approval. You exit the crowd's soft control perimeter. The moment you become dark in this sense, people adjust distance, not to attack, but to hedge. You are no longer familiar, legible, or easily labeled. And to humans, what cannot be read is more frightening than what confronts directly. The turning away is quiet, cold, and calculated. You are not hated. You are removed from their safety zone. 5. Real-world power does not operate through words but through decision rights and delay. Those who decide do not explain. Those who explain do not decide. In work, money, and relationships, this boundary is clearer than most care to admit. You may speak eloquently, correctly, rationally, but if you are not the closer, your words are noise. Real power lies in making others wait for your response, not the reverse. Money is not merely an exchange tool, it is a positional filter. Those with money are assumed valuable until proven otherwise. Those without must constantly justify their worth. In this system, diligence and goodwill do not create power, they only create longer-term exploitability. When your income depends on another's decision, you occupy a reactive position, no matter how stable it appears. Relationships do not operate on closeness as commonly believed. They operate on leverage. Whoever needs the relationship more is weaker. Whoever fears its loss more will concede first. So-called equal relationships are merely temporary balances of need. When the scale tilts, attitude shifts immediately. No betrayal required. Priority adjustment alone is enough for you to feel yourself demoted. The core of power mechanics is that it requires no malice. People do not need to hate you to disadvantage you. They only need to protect their position. When interests collide, power automatically overrides morality without debate. This is why so many unjust decisions are made by people convinced they are good. They do not see wrongdoing, they see necessity. In such environments, the proactive always outranks the reactive. Proactive does not mean aggressive, it means controlling tempo. Whoever sets the schedule, defines terms, or can withdraw cooperation without immediate damage holds power. The other party may deny it, but will adjust behavior accordingly. Power does not need announcement, it is felt. And here is what many miss when you begin accumulating real power. Resistance does not come from the weak, but from those closest to your level. Not from hatred, but because you have entered overlapping interest territory. From there, interactions grow colder, more calculated. No one speaks it aloud, but the rules have changed. You are no longer treated as a person, but as a variable to be managed. That is the moment real-world power reveals itself. 6. Good people lose, not because they lack morality, but because they play the wrong strategy in a system that does not reward morality. They believe good intentions will be understood, sacrifice recognized, harmlessness rewarded. That belief exposes every weakness from the start. In an environment where power operates implicitly, displaying good motives is not protection, it is an invitation. Their core mistake is reacting instead of positioning. They wait for external cues, read faces to decide moves, constantly ask what others think. This keeps them half a step behind. When order shifts, alliances move, and gazes turn cold. Realization arrives too late. They do not lose by heavy attack, they lose by silent foundation removal. They also cling to the illusion that moral consistency ensures long-term safety. In reality, it makes them predictable. When everyone knows you will endure, empathize, and not retaliate, there is no need to consider consequences when pushing you aside. You become a buffer for others' tension, a place to dump pressure without cost. This is not a character flaw. It is a positional one. Another strategic error is belief in emotional transparency. They explain, disclose, and hope sincerity will soften conflict. In power structures, emotional information only sharpens vulnerability. When you reveal fears, boundaries, or appeals for fairness, you hand over your psychological map. That map is rarely used to protect you. Good people lose because they underestimate the system's coldness. They think they are interacting with humans. In truth, they collide with mechanisms. Mechanisms do not care how hard you try, only where you stand and how easily you can be replaced. When you do not defend position, control minimum power image, or maintain necessary ambiguity, you place yourself at disadvantage. Their failure is quiet, procedural, rational, and no one is responsible. 7. Machiavelli did not teach cruelty. He stripped away the illusion that the world runs on innocence. The Machiavellian frame begins with a cold premise: power is not a moral contest, and winners are rarely right. Enter life expecting integrity alone to protect you, and you refuse to learn the rules from the start. In this frame, actions are judged by effect, not intention. A good decision preserves position, expands leverage, and minimizes attack exposure. Personal ethics are not denied, but they are not allowed to blind strategic perception. The masses' problem is not lack of values, but demanding the world respect them. Machiavelli saw that as dangerous confusion. Power here is not display. It is hesitation induced in others before acting against you. When you are too predictable, transparent, and consistent in goodwill, you remove the pause. No one fears harming someone they know will not respond. Machiavelli did not advocate revenge. He warned of the cost of toothless kindness. The frame also redefines image. It is not who you are, but how you are perceived at decisive moments. Humans do not interact with essence. They interact with surfaces of power. If that surface is not hard enough, ambiguous enough, or caution-inducing, inner virtues become irrelevant. This is not falseness. It is armor in covert competition. Another core is accepting unfairness as a condition of existence, not a flaw to fix. When you stop resenting that the world does not reward goodness, you free energy to observe how it actually operates. Machiavelli did not ask you to betray values. He asked you not to sacrifice position to the illusion they will be automatically protected. This frame is uncomfortable because it forces one truth: if you lose, it is likely not because you were morally wrong, but structurally wrong. And structure does not care how you feel. It responds only to those who understand power as a language, and if you do not speak it, you will always be spoken for. 8. Applying this framework halfway is the fastest route to self-destruction. When you try to appear cold, yet crave recognition, speak of power, yet react emotionally to every glance, you emit mixed signals. In social environments, mixed signals equal weakness. Others need not fully understand you. Sensing indecision is enough to test limits. The inverse warning is this: Machiavelli is not a skill set for impression management, nor a mask worn in comfort and removed under pressure. It is a fundamental shift in viewing humans and power. Learn only phrases, attitudes, and surface behaviors, and you enter the most dangerous zone, no longer good, yet not formidable enough to command respect. There, you become an ideal target. Many fail, believing a little more hardness is sufficient. They cut kindness, keep ego, but build no real position. The result is loss of old social protection without new armor. Every move is scrutinized, every error amplified, every motive framed negatively. No one forgives someone both unlikable and powerless. This frame is not for the majority because the majority requires belonging for psychological survival. Truly withdrawing from the need to be liked demands tolerance for isolation. If you cannot endure silence, exclusion, being unconsulted or unnamed, power play will fracture you internally. You will oscillate between wanting to be pleasant again and forcing coldness. That oscillation is visible. The final and most dangerous warning: many use these ideas to justify bitterness. They label defense strategy, resentment, awakening, distancing power. Real power carries no scent of grievance. It is quiet, heavy, stable. If you still need to prove you are not to be messed with, you are reacting, not controlling. Half application does not make others fear you, it makes them see inconsistency. In this world, inconsistency is more dangerous than weakness, because it signals manipulability. Then the turning away is no longer silent. It becomes deliberate exclusion. 9. At this point, readers often want guidance, a way to stand on the right side to avoid being turned against. This section offers no escape. It places you before a choice no one can make for you. You either continue as a legible element within familiar structure, or accept becoming a variable with all consequences attached. There is no safe third option. Repositioning begins when you stop asking, "What should I do so they won't oppose me?" and confront the harder question, "What position am I occupying that gives them the right to oppose me?" This is uncomfortable because it removes the victim role. It forces confrontation with dependency levels, validation, hunger, and how much you still live off others' reactions. As long as you need them to stand with you to feel stable, you remain within their adjustment range. Most will stop at awareness, because awareness feels powerful without demanding trade-offs. Real repositioning does not occur in the mind, but in specifics: how you stay silent, how you do not explain, how you do not react even when misunderstood. These do not make you loved. They clarify one thing: you are no longer playing by emotional rules. That alone shifts position without announcement. Repositioning also means abandoning the need to prove you are right. You accept that in some spaces you will be seen as cold, distant, even unpleasant. If you still feel compelled to fix that image, repositioning is incomplete. The new position does not offer moral comfort. It offers weighted quiet, existing only when you no longer require positive interpretation. The core is not choosing hardness or softness. It is whether you can relinquish the need to be on the right side in others' eyes. When you do, many surrounding behaviors lose force automatically. Turning away, if it occurs, no longer destabilizes you. It simply confirms you have exited a zone where their consensus once mattered. This section does not urge change. It presents reality. Every position has a price. Stay, and the price is covert control. Move, and the price is selective isolation. You need not answer now, but you cannot pretend you have not seen the choice. 10. When people truly turn away from you, the world does not collapse as imagined. There is no spectacle, no climax, no moment for complaint. Only a clear, empty space appears where familiar feedback once lived. You realize you are no longer pulled in, consulted, or placed at the center of any narrative. And notably, everything continues to function, just no longer around you. At this point, most attempt return. They soften tone, lower frequency, adjust posture to refit old structure. Not because they believe it right, but because silence frightens them. Yet, if awareness has gone far enough, one cold truth emerges. The turning away was not an accident. It was the exact price of incompatibility. That price, though uncomfortable, is more honest than all prior support. The cold ending is this: there is no state where you are both independent and unconditionally loved within the same structure. One must die. When you choose not to need approval, you also end the illusion of others' loyalty. No one owes you alignment. They stand with you only while you occupy a position that stabilizes them. Eventually, there is no "why are they like this?" That question exists only while you still expect emotional fairness. When that illusion falls, what remains is clarity, not bitterness. Clarity that your silence has weight. That being unloved does not mean you are wrong. That turning away is not a sign of loss, but proof you left a table no longer suitable. This ending offers no victory sensation. It offers no comfort. It leaves a cold plain where you stand alone, seeing things as they are. No resentment. No justification. No need for confirmation. If emptiness appears, it is not loss. It is the necessary space left when all noise has been removed. And there, no one turns their back on you anymore, simply because no one remains close enough to do so.